What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How
How
you
you
been?
doing? Good.
No complaints, man. Just another day. I actually just wrapped up Fit Nation podcast today because we film Sundays and Wednesdays. What days do you film? Is it always Wednesday?
I got my kids Tuesday, Thursday, so I usually try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's weekend. I got flexibility.
Okay, okay. How many podcasts do you put up a week usually, or do you film a week?
It's not like a weekly. I usually do probably 2 to 4 a month at least.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The last one I watched the one with Compton and Sergio. You
Yeah.
you, I feel like you're a really good like traditional host. You got good hosting skills, man. I feel like you should put out some more podcasts. Uh, I don't know how much free time you have, but
No, thank you. I appreciate it. That's
yeah,
that's the big thing. Like I'm not really trying to, be super present unless I'm asked or I have a good opinion to give. But I think a good host, like they really get the most out of a guest. And I've seen what you do, and and obviously you get to jump in a lot with your stuff. But with certain guests, yeah, I see you really manage it well because you've got a lot of people on sometimes.
thank you, man. I still feel like I'm a horrible guest. I mean, I'm a horrible host just because I'm not very traditional, I guess, in the way I do it. But I think people like it, man. I think
Yeah.
people like it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, especially with your personality, you know what I mean? It's going to come through no matter what.
Well, you know what uh the hardest part I found with social media early on was was something that sounds like the easiest thing, right? Be yourself. But it's hard to be yourself until you get comfortable being on camera, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you can relate. Like you'll see people in real life, you'll talk to them, and they're super, hey, and they're super cool, super chill, great conversation. But on a podcast, they don't really know what to say, right? Or
Yeah.
on camera, right? It takes a while, I think, to get comfortable enough where you forget it's recording. You're just chatting with your boys, you know?
So today, I talk a lot of the natty guys too. I kind of branch both worlds. So I had this guy on today, Steve Hall, who hosts Revive Stronger. It's a pretty big podcast. Have you heard of that one?
No, I'm not familiar.
He's
I'm
had
not
some guys. He
familiar.
just had Terrence Ruffin on. He's had like Joe Bennett, but he's more of like a natty guy. But he's done like 500 podcasts. So I had him on. It's so easy. When someone's so
Mm,
used to talking, and like it definitely
yeah,
shines through. And then as sometimes you gotta like you can get them to open up like that too. If you can either make them comfortable or ask the right questions.
yeah, yeah. Well, some of my favorite guests are other people who have podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Like, who's better on a podcast than somebody who hosts their own podcast, right?
Right.
I remember having Sid Faruqi. He was great because it's almost like he's like a second host. Right? I don't know. He keeps
And he's
the
got such a good
conversation flowing.
voice.
Oh, yeah, the best voice ever, man. But that's like his natural voice. His voice
Yeah.
it actually sounds like that. His When he's having a conversation with you in person, his voice echoes, and you're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Can you?" I'm like, "I bet you can sing." He was like, "He doesn't like to sing, but he can." I'm like, "I knew it. The voice is too smooth. There's no way you can't sing with that
Right.
voice. It's just, yeah, he has that voice." And who else?
This
Uh,
was
uh,
today you
uh,
had
the-
on?
no, no, no. I had him on a while back, and Xavier Wills from Desktop Bodybuilding. He's
Yeah, yeah,
a
he's really
good
good.
guest, because this is what he
I
does.
saw you
But
guys. I
he's
saw you
been,
and Sergio and Nate and him on one, I think.
yeah, yeah. He's been quiet. Right? He hasn't been
Yeah,
posting too
that's what I was
much.
saying. Yeah, I noticed that.
I gotta check up on him because I know I don't know if you're familiar with his situation, but he has a lot of like legal stuff and relationship children to think with his children, just
Hmm.
a lot of like baby mother drama,
Oh
but
man,
like
that's
pretty high
that's the
stakes.
worst.
It's all over the news and stuff in Australia. It's wild stuff. It's
Oh
wild stuff.
shit, no, I did not know. No, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm luckily my ex-wife is she's Asian, right? So she's chill.
oh, very, very
She
cordial. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, she's
Uh,
a little.
they're more old school traditional, which is honestly, man, that's the route to go, bro. That's the route to go.
I'm with a Latina now, and she's just
Oh,
fucking
there you go. There you go.
a little wild.
Yeah. Well, it's like I feel like if you stay in this country long enough, you start to blend in. But usually, you go to most other countries, man. The women there are pretty. I don't want to say something that's gonna sound fucked
The
up,
more
but
like traditional roles or what?
yeah, yeah. And I feel like most men can appreciate that. Most men can appreciate most men
Yeah,
can
I mean
appreciate
that's
that.
Sergio. Sergio got his girl unlocked from Lithuania.
Yeah, smart man, smart man. You know, dating out here, man, especially in bigger cities like I mean LA. I'm in West Hollywood, man. Like this, it's not a great place to date. It's just not.
Not women.
Yeah, I get it. If you're into guys, then it's a perfect place to
It's
date.
paradise if you're gay, dude. I told you I worked at that West Hollywood gym with Rich Piana, and we had all kinds of crazy celebrities and stuff come in there. But I remember I'm in there one day and I see this guy at the front, and I'm looking, I'm like, holy shit! Like there's a dude I went to college with in Lubbock, Texas, who was like a good looking guy, in good shape. We were homies, and I just never had a girlfriend. His girlfriend was in like Mississippi, and then like. He just never was the girl. I was like, dude, you should be my wingman. And then I see him there. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like now
Nah,
he's in
nah, that makes
paradise
sense.
and totally different like personality. Now he can like be himself. But I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
if you're gay, that's you're probably be so happy in West
Oh,
Hollywood. It
you're
could be
set.
better.
What I will say is like they're like they're super cool here, man. Like I feel like if you're in the bodybuilding world, we usually see eye to eye on most, on most stuff, regardless of where you're from or your preferences, right? It seems like we see pretty eye to eye. So we have, conversation at the gyms and stuff. And I mean, most of them, you wouldn't even know they were gay if you didn't say it,
Yeah,
right? I mean, you can read between the
some of
lines,
them.
but yeah, that's how they get. But like, they're chill dudes, man. They're gym bros like everybody else, They just have different preferences, you know what I'm saying? So it's, I mean, I don't, when I say I'm in West Hollywood, people are like, I can't imagine you living there. And it's like, I guess I only know my own circle. I'm not just frolicking around with in the neighborhood, So in my circle, well, everybody's cool here that I went into. Everybody's super cool, But yeah, dating here, I mean, there's a lot of good looking women, but I feel like what they're looking for doesn't really align with what I'm looking for. Well, first of all, in West Hollywood, my look is kind of like a fetish.
Yeah,
It's kind of in style, right? So
yeah,
you can use that to your advantage, but I'm not really looking for that right now. Honestly, I'm not really looking for anything. But if I am gonna look for something, I kind of want something long term, kind of long
yeah.
term.
I mean,
You
especially as a
know?
bodybuilder, it's much easier if we've got like something stable that supports us versus trying to like hustle. It's hard. I've done it. It's hard as fuck to prep while you're trying to get pussy, right? Like where you're
Oh
trying
yeah,
to actively get it because like that's gonna fuck up
100%.
your sleep. It's gonna mess up your food. You're gonna just like meals are gonna be longer. Everything gets fucked up. Like literally,
No,
that's the only thing that's
100%.
ever messed me up was women and work. You know?
Woman to fuck you up, or woman to get you in trouble, man. The ditch prep, I completely stopped dating. The entire 16 weeks, I just didn't date, and
Yeah.
I didn't want that to be. I felt like it was taking so much of my time and emotion, And I would speak to a few guys, and they would be like, "Yeah, it's because it's a distraction, the whole nine." And at first, I was like, "Nah, we're not with me. I'm cool." Then I was like, "No, it kind of is. It's throwing me off for just a little bit mentally. Still getting everything done, but just where your headspace is at is important.
Mhm.
You can follow a program and still not be locked in. You can be like, well, I'm getting all the meals, I'm getting the workouts in, but you're not doing it to the best of your ability. Your meal timing is off. You're waiting too late to have a shake. You're doing the workouts, but the intensity isn't 10 out of 10. So if you really want to be locked in, you're better off either having like an actual partner or maybe just not dating when you're in the trenches. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Everybody's different, I guess.
I think for sure. And sometimes even if you have a partner, it can be fucked up. It depends on how your partner is supportive wise. So like you're talking about
Exactly.
getting locked in, like let me jump Sergio in. So it's like, do you feel like you have to like take a little bit of time to get locked in, whether it's for like prep or off season even? Do you feel like okay, it's gonna take me a few weeks to really hone in? What's up, buddy? We're talking about getting locked in and actually dialing and getting our shit together, whether it's for like off season or prep.
Yeah. Sergio always had the best t-shirts, right?
I know you always got the. I forgot what it was last time. It was what was? Oh, it was Bobby Hill last time.
You
It's always something interesting, right?
guys just appreciate me, that's all.
I'm glad you guys have sleeves on. I'll say that. Right now, looking at y'all
Oh
fucking
yeah.
face. So like we were just saying, what about you, Sergio? For like as a pro, like, do you have like a period maybe during your maintenance phase where you're kind of like like chilling a little bit, whether you're not pushing intensity, or are you always like 100% there mentally, or in the off season is a little trickier? Prep, I would assume, is locked in.
I wish my life was at the point where I'm just doing good all the time that I could take time off. But I have so many fucked up things happen to me in my life that I feel like my whole career I'm always trying to like make back the weight I lost. And then I just start to make some new weight just for something else to happen. So I've never been in the place in my life where I've been so consistent for years where I could probably taper off and let my nervous system take a break and stuff like that. I mean, I guess my life does it.
Yeah,
Without,
involuntarily.
yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, there's no way that I don't think I've gone, fuck, a whole year with nothing happening. I mean, even right now, like my sponsor just called me to tell me that they're dropping me. They're
Was that Jim
canceling.
80 or who?
No, 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 Black Skull.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're canceling
Um,
my contract. I mean, I know the real in Brazil, the money, their currency, it's like gone to shit. And then obviously with the US currency going up, they're just getting rid of everyone out of Brazil. But still, look, now I'm like finally picked a show, got my life together, relationship good, coach good, get ready for a show. Finances are fucked up. Fix the finances. I'm in jail in Dubai, So it's just like it's always like some kind of bullshit. So I would love to be at a point in my life where, right, I've been fucking killing it for like 6 months straight. And now I want to take a break because that is smart to do.
Yeah, yeah.
what about you, Biadi? Like, when you're going, because you just
Well,
took like a little bit of a break right now, right? Kind of like a deload a little bit.
well, not perfectly. So kind of like what Sergio said. I don't like to plan these breaks because life fucking happens, right? So I haven't been sick in like 2 years. I don't really get sick, but when I do, it's really bad because I have asthma. I almost died as a baby. I had a really bad set of case of bronchitis. So my respiratory system isn't the best. So when I get sick, it's like I'm like, am I gonna die? What the fuck is going on? So
Fuck.
I don't plan breaks because life will give you a break, whether it's a fucking bad breakup or you fucking short on money or you get hurt, and it doesn't have to be like a big injury, but fucking just spraining your wrist. You go to the gym like, damn, I can't fucking train chest. I can't. So all these little things happen. So I don't feel comfortable just taking voluntary time off when I know some shit is probably gonna come up that's gonna that's
Yeah.
gonna fuck you up. So I agree with Sergio on that. I don't like to take time off or even deload because something's gonna happen. Oh fuck, my shoulder. Now I have to deload because I have no choice. So I kind of just let life happen, and that's gonna be my time off. If I feel good, everything is good. I'm just firing on all cylinders. Because shit, we got time to waste.
For
So are you
sure.
able to like mentally treat off season like prep the whole time? Like you're able to have that mental flip, that switch? And I think as a
Mhm.
pro, like I think you kind of have to have that mostly, but I know like as an amateur, like we got other shit going on. Sometimes, especially if you're trying to build some social media stuff. I feel like for me, it's like it takes me a while to even for prep. Like I got to plan 20-week preps because it's going to take me 4 weeks to just finally get everything going right. So I feel like in the
Yeah,
off
yeah.
season, like I have a little trouble turning it on like I would during prep. Do you ever find that?
There's like different levels of being locked in. I think to some extent we're always locked in, but we would be lying if we said maybe this month we were distracted, mentally a little off. Or listen, we get stressed, we feel depressed, we get sad, just like everybody else. We don't complain about it. We don't moan about it, but we go through these things. And like I said, you could go through the movements, go work out, go eat your meals, but when you're a little bit off mentally, it's not the same. It's not the same. So we're pretty much locked in all the time, but 10 out of 10 execution, still more time than not, but I'm not gonna act like everything is always perfect because that's just not real life. But I try to be as close to perfect as I can as often as possible. But then there's gonna be some hiccups here and there. You gotta move, you got, like I said, a bad breakup here, some life stress, just random shit like without getting too much detail, like just let's say family stuff. Something's going on with this family, so then you have to deal with that, and it'll throw you off a little bit. But for the most part, I would say trying to always be at least a 9 out of 10, if for the most part. But there's times where I'm completely locked in, where nothing could phase me. That's usually maybe like around 20 weeks out.
Yeah.
That I feel that way. That I don't care that my house could be on fire. I'm gonna go cook my meal while my fucking bedroom is
Right.
burning. And
There's a
just
pressure to it too at that point. What about you, Sergio? Are you 10 out of 10 off season, or do you ever miss a meal or do a cheat meal or fuck around when you shouldn't?
No, it's like the same thing he said. Like once prep starts, I'm on
But like,
100%.
yeah, for prep for sure. But when you're like in a gaining phase,
I guess again, I don't know. I never had
you
off time like that where it's just life is
never
just.
had the option. Yeah, you got
I think
it.
we all come from the same background too of being skinny. We weren't like fat and then got into bodybuilding. So for me, if exactly I get into an argument with my girl, I'm missing a meal because my appetite goes to shit. My
Yeah.
body's already 110 pounds over the weight that it ever wanted to be. So I miss a meal, I lose a pound, I get a fucking anxiety or stress, I lose my appetite. I'm not a stress eater. I always say if I was a stress eater, I'd be Mr. Olympia already with all the fucking stress I've had in my life. So I think that's what we're all doing is I think we have like some kind of hiccup, which is small, and then it takes us 48 hours just to get our appetite back to where it was. And then, right, maybe something else happens. But in the off season, this is also the first time I've ever had an off season diet. So that's probably also something new for me. I usually just eat whatever I can think of that makes me hungry. And I guess that is probably one thing that I do take for granted is having genetics where I could eat a cheeseburger every single day. And now that's not going to make me cut harder.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you don't need to like, you can dial it in if you're eating cheeseburgers and stuff that easily.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Is there something you do, Baidi, like to kind of change your mindset in the off season to like get the fucking switch to go?
It's funny. It's funny Sergio says that because sometimes all it can take is fucking one bad argument sometimes, and you'll look at time. Damn, it's already fucking 9 o'clock. How long we been arguing? Holy shit! And it's not even that deep of an argument, but that little. And then sometimes I don't know about you guys. When I'm stressed, bro, my appetite goes to shit.
Yeah.
I just once I just it's really hard to eat when you're just thinking about something stressful. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be the biggest argument in the world. Just a simple fucking, hey, why didn't you put your socks back in buy your socks on the couch? Yeah. Hey, don't tell me you put my socks, and the next thing you know, you fucking you miss a meal. So no, that's funny. But yeah, I guess off season is more of a just you have goals and you execute. But I feel like most of us are past like motivation, you know. My older brother texted me, he's like, hey, man, how do you stay motivated to work out and stay on top of social media? I'm like, who told you I was motivated, bro? I'm like, I have zero motivation, man. I just I got to do something, motherfucker. I don't have a 9 to 5, so I got to earn a living somehow,
It's
you know.
discipline.
Yeah, but I think some people assume that because social media can be deceiving. He was like, "You seem like you're always happy all the time." I'm like, "Wow, this is news to me. I'm happy all the time." Okay, well, I'm glad you think that. I don't feel that way. So I think sometimes as men, we just got to get shit done. Sometimes even if it's not perfect, like I said, it's not always 10 out of 10. And sometimes we don't want to do it. We love working out, but there's many leg days. I'm like. I really don't feel like hitting those pendulum squats today, but you do it anyways, man. Fuck it, because you gotta get bigger legs.
I think a lot of it's like I said, kind of having the pressure, the time aspect, and like when you're doing prep, it's almost like it's like ritualistic, right? You start maybe a little more cardio in the morning. You like I get cleaned up, I shave off a little bit. I have a little more rituals that are like part of that, and like kind of like helps me get my mindset going. Whereas like in the off season, like I've been having trouble getting really super motivated. Like I haven't had any pressures.
You guys remember a time in your life where training was always the most fun part of your day, and you were like a child, like, oh my God, I can't wait to go train legs. And then my client was like, do you really find working out fun? And I was like, yeah. Uh-huh. Do I find it fun at this point? I'm like, kind of. I didn't even know how to answer it. I'm like, it used to just be like, oh yeah, this is so much fun. And I'm like, am I excited for this leg day today? I'm like, maybe, I guess, kind of. It changes. It changes. You still love it, but it's a different kind of love. It's like you love it, but you're not in love.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty. What do you agree with that, Sergio? How do you feel? I think that's kind of accurate.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like anything. Like if you go work at your favorite restaurant, you're gonna hate the food. It's just one of those things when it's not your job, it's exciting, it's fun, it's still a choice. And as soon as you have to do something, it just kills it. That's why it just always blows my mind when people are just like, Derek just posted something that when he goes to the gym, he can like finally turn off the rest of the world and this and that. I think he just posted like yesterday. And to an extent, we do the same thing. Like you can kind of somehow turn off the rest of the world. But for me, if I got into some kind of situation, or even this shit right now with my sponsor, I mean, it's fucking a lot of money now I'm not making a month. No matter what, it's popping up into my head while I'm resting in between
Yeah.
sets. And so that I now notice I'm doing where before I think also it's like you have less responsibilities when you're just starting out too, less writing on it. But now that I have that, yeah, I don't know how to turn off the rest of the world. Like I can use some anger, you know, and lift heavy and do some shit like that. But a lot of the times, like, yeah, like if I know like when they called me to say that they were going to drop me. I didn't train that day because the way I'm at it, like if it was like my arm day, maybe shoulders, if it was like a bullshit day, then I probably would have went. But now I feel like counting how many more weeks you have left to a show is kind of like an old school way of doing it. Now I count how many fucking leg days I have.
Yeah.
How many lagging body part days do I have left? And so now am I just going to just go to the gym because that's what I'm supposed to do? But I know that that back is my one or two of the week. It's going to be shit for sure. So now it's an investment for me. So now it makes more time. It makes more sense for me to fucking just skip that day, go tomorrow, then go the next day with all my meals in me and make sure that I fucking obliterated that. So now outside stuff affects my workout. And I'm not sure if it's because I am not loving my workouts as much as it is, or I just have more responsibilities in life that are just more of a distraction. I guess we'll never know until we retire, until we go back to training because we just want to. But I will tell you, hanging out with people that are retired that did used to do it, you know, even Dennis Wolf now, he's like in the best shape of his life. And Dorian's probably healthier. I mean, not probably, Dorian is healthy.
Yeah.
He was when he was competing, and they're the happiest they've ever been. But their bank account is set, so they don't have to stress. So I think that's also something that it's very easy to be like, oh, I enjoy working out, I enjoy being healthy, but they're able to pay their bills. Where a lot of guys have to keep training, keep doing shows because they financially have to. And I think that no matter what, no matter who you are, it's going to kill it for you. And I think deep down, a lot of people that say, oh, you know, you just got to suck it up and do this. You either have an easy ass life or you're just exactly like he said, like on social media, it's just fake.
Yeah. Is boss doing your workouts now? Or are you doing your own thing?
No, I'm doing my workouts just because with the injury, exactly. Like I have to do double chest days a week to get it caught up because it just atrophied so much. So anyone giving me any kind of workouts or anything, unless they had the same injury as me, it's just going to be a complete waste of time because I know how to train and now I know what areas I need to bring up. The hardest part for me right now training is doing back twice, chest twice, and legs twice in a
Yeah.
in a 7 day, you know?
What the
So
fuck are you
that's
doing? Is that doubles? You doing twos?
yeah, I do chest on shoulder day, and then I just do two back days, and then I do some quads on my hamstring day, and then I
Just
have
one session or are you doing double sessions?
I'm doing stuff doubles on two of the days.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I want to do it on three of the days, and then I'll be happy. But no matter what, when you're doing doubles, it's always going to be like arms or hamstrings, some kind of bullshit abs or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Sergio, you said like when you're like angry or sad, your workouts are kind of a little thrown off. Do you remember when you were like in the early 20s or like whatever age when you could almost feed off of anger, but then it changes, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
then now anger or being sad, it doesn't help your workout at all. Honestly, it completely fucks it up to the point that you don't actually want to even train because you feel like it's bullshit, right?
Oh,
I don't know what emotion we go. I can't put my finger on what emotion we go by now. I don't know what emotion it is, or if there's any emotion.
I was just gonna
To
say the
be
same
honest.
exact thing before that. Yeah, I missed like you. I would be able to hear a song and just be like, I could like
Riled up.
conjure. Now it's like it's hard. Like I don't have lows like I used to, which is cool, but I definitely can't get amped up or have as high as highs, I would say. And I think some of that's just aging a little bit too. But I mean, maybe there's some physiological part of it too. The fact that we've just have fucking done this all like 20 years, right? I mean, we've been doing this
Bro,
for a while. Maybe there's like we don't get the same dopamine kicks and things, that we used to because, anytime you stimulate something repetitively, it's going to be less. So I mean, there's got to be
yeah.
some kind of I don't know what it is, but there's got to be some real reasoning because if we all everyone I've talked to kind of feels the same.
I would,
I don't listen to music even during my workout
Yeah.
now. I
don't you
barely even
don't?
take. Huh?
I
You
don't
don't
either.
use it?
Not a lot of times.
No.
Damn, you guys are
I'm
psychos.
I sometimes I won't take a pre-workout. I'll just fucking go up there
You
with
just
no
don't
headphones.
yeah,
pre-workout. What do you?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't I,
Jesus.
I don't really take I take a pump pre-workout, but I don't take stim pre-workouts unless maybe leg day or back day. But for the most part, no stims, no music. I'm kind of like in a I'm almost like is that like meditation? I wanted to be peaceful and I don't want to be talking a bunch. I don't want to be if I'm riled, I don't want to be riled up at any point of the day in my life anymore. I don't want to be riled up at all. I want to be calm, bro. I don't want heightened emotions. I just want to be relaxed. So my workouts, even if it looks like I'm really really pushing it, I'm not very riled up. Very
Yeah.
very calm. I think that comes with age.
Well,
I think
and
that
if
comes
you
with
were to
age.
take, like, say you took a week off though, or a month, do you think you would come back and you would get the same rush a little bit more? Because I mean, I've taken like a week off and I'm like, okay, it's not the same, but it's like a little bit. You know, if you smoke a lot of weed, right? It's like taking a little bit of a break and okay, it's
Man,
not quite the first time high, but it's a little bit more.
I've only taken a week off the gym once because I was in a coma for a week, so I missed that
Fuck
week.
The only
And,
week you've ever took off because I was in a coma. It's
you,
pretty fucking
pussy. Took off a
hardcore.
week, you bitch.
That's funny.
and then this past time I was sick, but I missed 5 days. But then I went Saturday and hit like a upper body, then lower body Sunday, so I didn't really miss the week. But I've only missed that 1 week, and then when I got out the coma, it's not like in the movies where you just stand up and like hey and beat up the bad guy,
Steven
motherfucker.
Seagal.
You can't even sit, but you don't know it until like they were like, hey, if you need to use the bathroom, just go. I'm like, just go to the bathroom. No, no, just go right there. I'm like, no, I want to go to. Oh, I can't actually get up. Holy fuck. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought you just get the fuck up and you go home. They were like, oh, it's gonna take a while. And I couldn't sit up. I was trying to text people. They thought I was brain dead because I was texting gibberish. You
Damn.
gotta your body gotta get going again. And one of my friends was like, oh, I thought you were never gonna be back. I was like, me too. I felt slow as fuck. I didn't know if I was ever gonna feel normal, but it's a process. It's a
How long did
process.
that take to feel normal again?
Uh let's say I couldn't multitask. Like I couldn't like let's say I don't know like you can't I couldn't chew gum and do work, so
Damn.
that lasted months, and then my left foot was numb for like months as well. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get feeling back, my oxygen because it was pneumonia basically. So I told you I had respiratory issues, so I had a back case of pneumonia, and hey, a lot of bodybuilders when they get pneumonia they die. I don't know if you guys are aware with that, bodybuilders that first of all go into comas they usually don't get back out, or if they catch pneumonia for whatever reason, get rhabdo, and then now you're losing muscle when you're in the coma. That has to be filtered by your kidneys. So that's like pounds of protein going to your kidneys. Now your kidneys are you're gonna be in kidney failure at some point if you're in the coma long enough. So people die. This is why bodybuilders lose a lot of muscle before they get surgery, that they have to be sedated. It's just having a lot of muscle, it's a slippery slope. You have to you got to be careful.
I'm
So,
good.
yeah.
Y'all got to worry about that shit.
So yeah, if you're in a coma long enough for the bodybuilder, you might not get back out of the coma. So count your blessings. Something as simple as in the morning, just go get some antibiotics, take some Lasix, you're good. No, if you're 300 pounds, you might they they basically I went in there, they checked my oxygen levels. It was super low. They were like, what the fuck? So they put the ventilator on me. They're like, breathe, breathe. The worst thing you could do to somebody who can't breathe is be like, fuck, breathe, breathe, and surround him. So I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then I passed the fuck out. And I woke up a week later,
Jesus.
and the fucking obviously skinny as shit. You look like shit. They're like, hey, Mr. Farl, do you know what year it is? I'm like, I hope it's fucking 2020. That's the last time I remember.
They said that. That's funny. They're like, what if they're like fucking with you too? Like, man, you're like you're a year off, bro.
What? Then they got creepy. Then they were like, what month is it? And I was like, oh, of course it's I was like, oh, I'm looking. I'm like, oh, my family's here. Whoa, this is not good. I'm like, let's say February. They look around, writing in their notebook. I'm like, motherfucker, is it February? They go, let me. Hey, Mr. R, what day is it? I'm like, oh shit, fuck. How the fuck would I know what day? Look,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Spill the beans. What's going on? Am I dead, motherfucker? What's happening? And I ended up being fine, but it just one of those things, just being a bodybuilder.
I never knew you went through that coma like that, man. That's crazy.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's rough, but it puts things into perspective. because sometimes, and I was young, I was like 26, maybe 25. So you don't really understand mortality at that age. At that age, you think you're invincible, man. You literally, I honestly thought I was invincible until I'm like 60. Yeah, and then that happens and it humbles the shit out of you. And if you're not humble in life, something's gonna humble you. And
Yeah.
I don't think I was very humble at the time.
Yeah.
So
So
I needed to be humbled. And honestly, it was like a blessing in disguise because I got a lot more clear of what I want in life and how I want to be in life. I went in there thinking about material things, and I came out and I'm like, I don't really care about that shit anymore. So
nice. Yeah. I mean, you gotta like, we gotta like turn something like every shitty thing that happens to you. Like I've ended up having some pretty cool opportunities that happen from it, and they're always there if you look for them.
yeah,
What
yeah.
you said you had a show picked out, Sergio?
Yeah. So FIBO added an open class.
Yeah. Right. Is it a
Yeah.
good? Yeah. What is the pay on that? Is that one of the bigger ones too? As like a normal like?
Yeah. I know it's 100 G's, but
Oh yeah.
honestly, I don't know. I just don't care about the money, man. I think also it's like one of
It'll
those
be
things
nice.
saying like yeah, we're like, oh, lifting's not fun. But if we didn't lift for a month, we would be, itching to get back into the gym. So you would
Yeah,
just be looking forward to just training again. I mean, when you're in the gym, you would be so depressed about how much weight you lost anyway. But I think that that's where I'm at right now, right? I just want to get back to the Olympia. That if I won a show and that's all I got was a qualification, I'd be more than happy. The only thing that I like about that being a big prize money is that's going to bring some people
Yeah.
to the show, which is what I want. I don't want to go to a show finally after, more than a year of not doing a show. And then there's really no one that is in the show. Um, so I'm glad that it's going to be high,
When is that?
April.
I want to go. I've wanted to go to FIBO for years. Maybe I'll go this year
Yeah, I
so I
mean,
can
I
get
would
out.
say if it was in like another part of Germany, maybe, but Cologne is like it's
Is
like you could.
FIBO pretty like way better than the Arnold, or is the Arnold just the
Oh no,
same? Or
FIBO, the expo itself is the best.
yeah, I think I want to go, man. It looks pretty wild. I haven't gone to the Arnold the last couple of years
It's
anyway.
four,
So
it's 4 days, bro, and you have
yeah.
to take 4 days just to see it all. I never experienced anything like that before. The Europeans go all out, and in Germany, they're
Well,
for sure another level.
I think it's like a couple days of industry days because I'm gonna reopen a gym up here in Orange County soon. Next year, I'm looking at it.
It's just one
So
day. It's just one
one
day
one
that
day's industry. So they have like
yeah.
all the big equipment manufacturers out there and stuff too, the European
Yeah,
ones.
they have it all every day.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
maybe I'll. Yeah, I'll try. I think
hey,
I'll try to go out there. That'd be cool.
if you open that gym, please don't put all Arsenal equipment like most
No,
of the gyms,
no,
man.
fuck no. If you ever see me with Sergio, I shit on Arsenal. So I had a private gym that was just like 3,000 something square feet for a one-on-one, and it was all prime Atlantis. I had a couple of techno gym pieces that I like, but just a couple. And yeah, what I'd be looking here would be probably a lot of the Atlantis. It looks like New Tech
Okay.
now is coming to the US a little easier.
I like New
Um,
Tech.
I like some of the Panada pieces, like the back pieces especially, and then some of the old school stuff. Maybe you guys can help me a little bit real quick, actually. So I'm looking like 6 to 8,000 square feet. It's industrial. Gonna be kind of like a destination gym, not a ton of monthly memberships. Have like a membership base, but have it like a day pass kind of place. Have a posing room. Have it like because there's not shit. You guys know there's not shit in Orange County, right? I mean, you got San Diego and LA. You got some pretty cool shit, but in Orange County, there's not like a really a good destination gym. So I'd like to have a good mix of everything. On my other gym, we got the stainless steel Intech dumbbells. I don't know if I'll make it quite as high end, but it won't be like I love where we go, Revival. It'll be like a little different vibe than there, but that's awesome too. But definitely want some old school stuff. What are your guys' favorite new brands? And then we'll maybe talk about a couple like pieces for a body part or two.
I mean, you pretty much just named them all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Excluding obviously we all love Jim 80. Jim 80 is fucking awesome, but if we're taking Jim 80 out of the picture,
Uh, I like the old brands, man. I like Flex. I like Icarian. I like Nautilus. I like
like the
Hammer
flex presses
Strength.
or which flex ones?
Flex presses
Like
are
the leverage.
nice.
I like that Jim Lako. Like I
Yeah.
need some kind of a slight decline one. I know Jim Lako
Okay.
has one. I think New Tech has a pretty good one too, right, Sergio? Does New Tech have a like a very slight like decline press?
Yeah, and that one's cool too because you can change the bench to where it's horizontal or decline.
Yeah, yeah, I like that one. That one's
Yeah.
pretty smooth.
Yeah, because that's what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to figure out space wise. taking up a whole spot in a gym for something that
Yeah,
really,
those are pretty big, right? A lot of the new tech pieces. I know
yeah,
some of the back pieces at all. I didn't
Yeah,
even think
that's
about
true.
that actually. They're fucking
yeah.
huge. Some of the Panada were pretty big too. That's one of the reasons I went with
Yeah,
Atlantis is
with the
they
gym, the my leg day gym out here, it's called Strength Culture, and they've got that Panada. It's like a Panada curl where you can do a curl and then like an extension.
yeah.
Machine
Mm.
is the same size as a pendulum. It takes up the
What
same
the
amount of
fuck?
space, and it's like, man, if you really need this to do arms, then you're really at the wrong. So I've been yelling at her to get rid of that shit. But I was gonna say this when he was talking about Arsenal. I think there's like fads of equipment that go through in time. I think right when Arsenal came out, it was like every gym had it. And I think it
Mhm.
did help that, Flex Lewis was, a part of it. So that kind of like got our interest a little bit more sparked. But I think people are going through these little phases where it's like, oh, I want to put this in my gym because this name is like popular. But at the end of the day, is it really that
Yeah, I don't
great?
give a shit.
And Panada, I mean, all of them now, I mean, even the old ones. To find old ones, it's really hard too. But the new machines are going to spend 4 grand for a
Yeah, I
machine.
mean, I mean, I'm not too worried like about that. We put in fucking 500 grand in 3,000 square foot before. We won't do it. We won't do it so crazy this time, but that's why I want to get a little bit of a mix too, could kind of offset it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the new Prime shit, like just for like the incline bench, I think it was like 10 grand, 12 grand, something. Like they they don't fuck around. Like
Crazy.
they were really expensive. Atlantis was a little cheaper. I like Atlantis a lot. What about like leg pieces? What are you guys' favorite brands for leg? Like the more old school? I like the Cybex, of course, the Cybex
Yeah, I
Hack.
mean, you just can't beat Cybex. But yeah, the gym I'm going to for legs. They have an Atlantis that it's almost like a Cybex leg press. It's kind of similar, and then they have that hack squat that can work where it's
I had
like,
that one. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The,
So
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like
I
that
don't like the low one. I like the steeper stuff though, like the 45 degree.
because you like the harder, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Love the
Oh
easy,
man.
yeah.
When it comes to leg equipment, I'm super picky, man. I don't know why. I'm just really picky with it. If some shit don't feel right, I hate when you have the the fucking it's usually a life fitness extension that it gets like cricket and it's like this on a leg extension. I hate when that happens. I'm like I'm using all right leg. You guys know what I'm talking about when you have the
Yeah,
pedal and
Yeah,
it's
I know
like
yeah,
this.
exactly. Well,
yeah,
we have that at our gym where we work out. Yeah.
That shit drives me the fuck crazy. Why the fuck is it like this? I don't want to do that, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, leg equipment. I'm not a leg presser. I don't connect well with it, man. Like hip press, I can
Yeah.
fuck
Oh, I
with
like
that
the
when
hip
it's
press is good.
I can do
Have you
that.
Sergio, have you used they have the hip press and then they have another one that's real similar. The oh my God, why am I going the pendulum brand and what do you know the two different ones? They have like a two setups for like that look like a hip press. You know what I'm talking about, Biadi?
yeah. I know what you're talking
No,
about.
no.
Yeah, have you used
Like,
both of
but
those?
it moves the
They both
same.
look the same, but it moves a little like a slightly different.
Okay.
I know Seth Ferosi was really big on it. Have you used them both, Sergio? Do you have a preference on those ones?
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know why I can't mess around with hip press. I was going to ask you how tall you guys are because when I do the hip press, even if I put something where I'm sitting on it, I've only found one that it's like okay for me. I feel like my legs are too long, but
Mhm.
I use they have this like old gym here in Vegas that they have the old Cybex horizontal hip press
Oh,
where the machine it changes as you press, so
okay.
it's not like a
Okay.
swing, the machine like adjusts as you push.
I think that's kind of how the other Rogers one is, right? I
I
think it
think
moves
that
that way.
that's exactly what it is, right? Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay,
the best one I've ever used.
yeah. You like the
But
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Rogers Power Squat stuff, the Pro or the normal one?
yeah, yeah. That's just the
I like to.
problem is that like how are you gonna find these machines that
Oh, I
and
just Rogers is cheap. Actually, it's not cheap, cheap, but Rogers is pretty cheap and they're fast. They gave me my shit in 10 weeks. I had
oh shit.
The Rogers flat to the incline press, right? Because I didn't have a lot of space, which that's okay. I'm not gonna get that again, but for space wise, that's cool. But I had the power squat, which is great with the three different ones. It's
Mhm.
just so that I got this for me. I'm training all these little fucking women, and they couldn't even fucking do with no weight. Like it's a little bit too much
Shit.
for the clients.
John got money. He talking about it's
No,
cheap.
this ain't this.
Yeah,
No, I
give me
mean.
a loan. Give me a
I
loan,
mean,
bro. What you
I,
doing over there, man?
this is, I mean, like I have investors, not just me. It's not
Damn.
coming out of my
Okay.
checking account, but no, but like, I mean, we
That
really
ain't
did,
cheap for me, bro.
dude. So we had a fucking a Christian Dior fucking Bosu or like a ball at my old gym, like a stability ball. It was fucking $1,800. My partner bought that. I was like, dude, this is the bougiest you could ever make us. Like I put it up. I was like, people aren't gonna sit on this. So I'm not gonna let anyone use this. But I don't want that kind of a vibe necessarily. I don't want it to be where people feel like they can't touch anything. But I do kind of want to mix between somewhere between like Pure, where it's so like sanitary and clinical, and like where we're at Revival, where it's kind of like a madhouse, somewhere in the middle. Maybe like a slightly
Mhm.
nicer Metroflex, Metroflex, yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was you guys' favorite gym ever that you've been to?
It's easily the Dubai gym, but that doesn't count because that's what I was telling him on one of our last shows. They're just in such competition with each other
It's
that they
different.
are just now spending so much ridiculous money that they're even buying up the properties around the gym to knock out the walls to add more machines. So excluding
Yeah.
Dubai, because if you ask anyone who's trained out there, they'll tell you the worst gym in Dubai is better than any gym in the country because
Yeah.
like it is what it is. When you have unlimited money, you're just, what they're doing is they're making their gyms into showrooms. That's how sick they are. That it's
Mm.
just a place that Panada, New Tech, that Max Pump, and a few other ones, they bring customers to these gyms so they can go
Yeah.
shopping for equipment. So you really are, it's almost like you work at a car dealership and you get to drive any car on the dealer on the lot every day. And
Yeah.
then when people
Oh
want to buy
shit.
cars, they come to the dealer and pick. So excluding Dubai because it's just ridiculous. Man, the gym in San Diego is actually really, really
I
That's
nice.
like
what.
that. I
Yeah.
like
I
that
mean,
too.
it's hard to
I
fuck
like that.
with.
Yeah,
Wait,
but you know what's really a low key really good gym, even though it's really famous, but I don't think people ever talk about it. Is Bev's gym, man. Bev's gym is actually
I haven't been a few years. I know they updated a lot. I know he just got some new stuff.
yeah.
I just did a podcast with a kid who was working out there this week, and he said it was awesome. But I don't mean I guess I'm bougie. I mean I don't. It's like I like it, but I don't want to fucking like trip over everybody. Like everything there is so stacked. Have you been to Bev's, Baidi?
uh actually no, I'm from New York. I don't think I ever I had to have been once.
What? Wait a
I'm
minute. Revoke your New York
Wow,
card. What?
wow. Just your bodybuilding
I
card in general.
oh you know what I think? Okay, I think I went once. I think I went with my boy Ethan and Adam Silva, but we didn't work out. We arm wrestled with Adam Silva, right? The arm wrestle thing. So I think we arm wrestled for strength net, and this guy Ethan almost broke my fucking arm off. And no, I don't think I've never trained there, and I didn't really explore it. At the time, he was paying us to do that, so I'm like, you gonna pay me to arm wrestle, motherfucker? Yeah, but any day, wait, way to go,
Yeah,
But
Adam will pay you to do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Nah, Adam, he's good people. Adam was out
nice
there.
guy, you know.
I've known Adam almost my whole life. I knew him since I was like a kid. He's like one of the
Yeah,
people that have been around for a minute.
is this Silver from Silver
OG.
Models?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I've
Uh,
known Adam for a while too.
he's the OG
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
It's funny because
a long time. He's been
the
around forever.
the younger guys are like, oh, that's Larry the video guy. I'm like,
I know. I
hey,
hate when they say Larry's video guy.
I'm like, watch your mouth, man. Show me some respect, motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that guy's been he was doing, wasn't he doing the USA Muscle before
Mhm.
StrengthNet? And
Yeah,
I used to see him fucking DJ and show. I'm like, how do you have time to do all this? What the fuck? Who's paying you? What the fuck? Where you like? What? How do you have time to do all of this shit? But I mean, he's super cool. To this day, I'm pretty sure he lives in LA. I see him around here and there, but he's always traveling. I was gonna say, have anybody been trained at more gyms than Sergio?
I mean, I've probably been trained at more, probably not more cooler ones though, because I mean,
Like
Sergio's kind of like,
all
well,
over the
I've
world.
been, I'm not over the world, no, but definitely I've hit up kind of some really unique ones. Like I went to Portland, I hit up the Prinzi's gym. You ever heard of that, Sergio?
mm-mm.
1942, I think, was when they were built, or 38. It's like one of the first gyms in the world in the US, and it's like they've got
I
some
might not be allowed
fucking
there.
cool shit. They got some really, really cool stuff that you just cannot like replicate. And I've kind of done like a little US tour of the gyms mostly. I haven't done the one in Colorado, but Bev's gym's great. I like the gym in San Diego and Pure in Toronto. Pure's hard to fuck with. I mean, it's so big. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's where
massive.
I want to go. Yeah, for sure. Armburst is probably the only gym in the States that I haven't been to
Yeah, I want to go.
that I want to go. But yeah, even there's like I forget what it's called, Emporium. I went out there when I went to the UK, and this was way before there was JP, before there was Holland Sheed. That gym was the top UK gym, and everybody would go there when you went for Body Power. Body Power used to be one of the biggest expos around the time when FIBO was like really the biggest, and before COVID. And that gym was really sick too. So yeah, I'm glad I've been able to do that. It's almost like Ron Parlo.
Yeah, yeah, the mutant on a
That
mission.
that would be if I had to pick besides maybe like promoting shows and commentating on shows, that would be my dream career for the rest of my life. Is you just
Yeah, you could do that.
get paid to go to all the gyms all over the world,
Uh,
try out all the shit. It's just it's really cool. But I think it's exactly like we were saying. I think it comes down to whatever's your favorite type of gym. Because
Yeah,
yeah, if you go to Quad in Chicago, some people tell you Quads is the best gym in the
mhm.
United States because that's the gym that like Ed Cohn and like the first bodybuilders in Chicago used to train at. And it's got the machines where it's got like pec deck, shoulder press,
Yeah, yeah, all
ones
in
where you
one.
can do like leg press, the whole
Yeah.
machine, you know? So it's really cool to see machines. It's almost like a museum. And that's where I trained to get my pro card. So I got spoiled right away. But like MI40, I went to MI40 when I was doing Tampa. I almost moved to Tampa just for that gym. But I realized it wasn't MI40 because really the whole Pekoski and MI40 ideology is kind of like nuts to me. But I had never used a prime at that
Yeah.
time. So I think it's just one of those things when you're like you were saying, you don't get a connection from leg press. I think when we have these things that we already know about our body, and then we go to a place and it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, this is amazing. You just keep coming in your pants. It's almost like a Toys R Us for bodybuilders that sometimes I don't even care what the gym looks like. I don't care about the members. Like I used to pick gyms on if people were hot, or something like that. Like I can't tell you the last time that I looked at a girl in a gym. It's like the gayest thing I think I've ever said. But it really is. It doesn't matter. But I also did get spoiled getting my pro card and packing my car and moving to golds. Me
Yeah.
catching golds while
That's when it was good, barely.
yeah, I mean I missed the flex wheeler days. I mean
Yeah.
I was barely born, but of the time that I was alive, yeah, I caught all of that. I caught being able to watch Roden and Dexter in that place. I trained with Tom Platz in that place. So even training with Charles Glass, it's just these are things that it's like people who say, oh, like I went to go see Rolling Stones at a concert, like that's how I feel when you say that you're able to train around these guys at this time because you're never going to get that back ever. You go to Golds now, and even though they did change the equipment around and stuff like that, the vibe is so different. So
Oh
when
yeah.
I was training at Golds, people would ask me all the time what was my favorite, machines, and they did have the Nautilus with the chain, which is
Yeah.
cool. But honestly, I wasn't even going there for the machines. It was just the aura of that
oh
place.
yeah, yeah,
And I was going twice a day. I first moved there. I moved to Long Beach, which is not even close to.
No.
yeah.
I had a fucking cousin that told me it's 30 minutes. So when I moved from Chicago, I moved to Long Beach. And it's like, yeah, it's 30 minutes at like 3 a.m.
4 a.m. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it shows how what we were saying when you first get into working out or you're getting your pro card, you're just so addicted. I drove to Gold's twice a day, 6 days a week. I drove to make it there by 2 o'clock to train with Sean Roden and Charles Glass. And then I would go home and I would drive back. So it was 4 hours on the 405. I was driving every day and I couldn't have been any happier, man. I seriously couldn't have been. So it's so wild. And now I just went there for this shoot and I stayed at a hotel that was like 30 minutes away. I'm like, I'm never going back there again. It was just like,
Oh,
fucking
it's different.
horrible.
It's different now.
Yeah.
You're because I remember seeing you there. That was 2017, 2018 ish around then.
Yeah. I mean, I was there then, but I moved there 20. Yeah. I got my pro card 2015. So 2016, I moved.
Okay, yeah, yeah. At that time, it still had it. Like you said, we didn't have Flex and Chris and them there, but I mean, it was really good,
Yeah,
man. It was
Dex
the
and Psycho and Sean.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the energy, you felt something. I didn't want to leave. I would go there and I didn't want to leave. At that time, I had just moved to LA. I didn't save any money up. I didn't even have a job yet. I was taking a bus to Gold's, bro.
Holy
And
shit.
the buses in LA is not like New York. It's straight crackheads, bro.
Oh,
It's
yeah. Yeah.
motherfuckers.
For sure.
Yeah. But one time I got on a bus, the fucking bus driver was a crackhead. I'm not even joking. This guy, this guy stopped the bus on the middle of the street. He said he got out, ran into a building. I'm like, yo, ran back in like, and started driving. I'm like, holy fuck, we're gonna die. I was like, fuck this. But I was like, I'm not getting off. I'm trying to get to the gym, motherfucker. So
Oh
he's
my
driving crazy. I'm like, so I get up. I'm looking for a number on the bus so I can report this. He's gonna kill somebody. I'm like, you know what? I need to figure out a way to get a car. Is what the fuck I need to do. That's what I need to do with my life. But
That's
it was,
hilarious. Holy
but
shit.
but like you said, you didn't regret a moment of it, but just to be there. Just to be there and work out. And I didn't really say one word to y'all. I would just watch and work out and shit.
Mhm.
But Sergio was super cool. Like anytime, like he would talk to anybody. He didn't have like an ego about him or anything like that. He was so super cool. I always say remember because the same little kid in the gym one day is gonna be another bodybuilder. They're gonna be like that guy was a dick to me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I
always you
think
always.
it
Mhm.
changes when you grow up in a gym too. I think a lot of guys get into bodybuilding to become famous bodybuilders. Where if you
Yeah, yeah.
just were raised in a gym anyway, like obviously me, I'm an exception because my dad and stuff like that. Like I grew up in a gym because my dad was either training or I was in the kids club the whole fucking time. But you learn certain etiquettes in the gym when you grow up in one that you're not able to be a dick because you at some point were that small ass kid where you're like, I want to ask them, how many more sets you have. And then you end up not even asking because you don't even want to bother them. And you're like, I'll just train something else. So now when you are a pro, you think about people like that. And sometimes you can even catch people that they're even looking. Sometimes I'll even ask them, be like, do you want to work in? Like, that's just not a normal thing for someone unless you grew up in a gym to
Yeah.
know. So it's not anything negative. Even if people are a dick in the gym, sometimes it's not their fault. They just went straight from zero to stardom. When we did the Compton podcast last time, I meant to bring up about how Compton's the only pro that I know who worked an expo before never going to an expo. He never was really a fan of the sport. He never really was like the guy waiting in line for hours to meet someone. He just loved working out. His body blew up into a crazy, bodybuilder, and then he was super famous. So it's not his fault, but he skipped that whole, like one day I'm gonna be this, or I can't wait till I'm that. He just did it because that's what he was doing. It's almost kind of like Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack's the same way. They just I'm going to be doing this regardless. If you're going to pay me, cool. If you're not, I'm going to be doing the same exact shit regardless. So sometimes it's not really their fault if they're a dick. They just come off like someone who's just maybe standoffish.
So Justin was a dick at the expo.
Not to me, but I know a lot of Justin stories
He would probably
for
admit that.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right, yeah. But if you meet people who know him, they'll tell you that's exactly what it is. It's not anything malicious. It's just him.
yeah. His communication is very straightforward, blunt, and to the point. So if you don't know him, you could definitely read. You could definitely read him wrong. You could definitely read him wrong. And he doesn't like bullshit. Even like just going out to eat with him. I think he ordered a specific pancake, and then they gave him the wrong one, and he was like, "Hey, can you switch?" And she was like, but it costs more. She was like, can you adjust the price? And she was like, yeah, but I have to take that back. She was like, no, this is not going anywhere. This is gonna stay right here. Just bring a new one. I'm like, I mean, fuck it. You gonna keep both. Fuck it. It is what it is.
That's
But I
funny.
mean,
Yeah.
like at heart, he's the nicest guy. It's just that's how he communicates. He's very very blunt, very straightforward. But I was gonna say I was talking about this on a post that Sergio posted before, and nobody talks about how hard Sergio trained. Nobody. It's not like a thing like, oh, that guy trains hard. For whatever reason, nobody mentions that.
Because you're not
I think
super white. I guess Ronnie got some love, but I feel like the white guys get more credit for
well,
training hard.
I think it's whatever people perceive as good genetics, it doesn't count, right? If you train
Exactly.
hard, but people perceive that you have good genetics, I think they throw it out the window. Like, he has good genetics, but it's like, Dorian, he didn't have good genetics. But it's like, what are genetics? Because building muscle and getting shredded is genetics as well. It's not
Yeah.
well because Sergio has good shape and big forearms. You know what I'm saying? No, he can't work too hard because he's the genetic. Yeah, both can be true. I don't know. I think both can
Not,
be
I,
true.
lo- I love that you say that because I don't think people think about that all the time. I think you think genetics means that you grow muscle faster by doing less. And look, there are people. I've met some people. Like I even got beat by Michael Lockett. He was like, I think we talked about it before. He's walking around backstage eating a whole cheese pizza. The
Yeah.
whole fucking pizza to himself, a large pizza. You have to have some kind of genetics that allows your body to digest that and put that into whatever he did, because he won, he beat us at the Chicago
Yeah.
Pro. So, and then you see him training, and like his back workouts were nuts, and his back was one of the best, but everything else was just kind of like, it was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy definitely had some genetics of kind of expediting the gains a little bit. But you're right. I think if there was one other child of a Mr. Olympia, then we could compare me to them. I think when you don't
Yeah.
have someone to compare me to, it's just, I know everything about bodybuilding because my dad taught me since I was a kid. You just think that. And I definitely don't train hard because my muscle just grows fast. Because right, I was saying this before. What is the most weight that anyone's gained from their first show to their last show? Because if it ends up being me, then that's some pretty badass statistic to have that
That
no
is.
one gives a shit about. Because
Yeah, yeah.
you know how long it takes to gain 110 pounds of muscle, lean muscle? It takes
Right.
fucking as long as it's fucking taking me.
It takes
So,
time, yeah.
so then when I'm training, and then the other thing is like, okay, so then how's Sergio's form? Sergili is foaming at the mouth to make a video on me doing
Fucking
something
guy.
wrong. But how many videos has he made of me with
The little dumbbell. He got you with the 300-pound dumbbell moving
Oh
your
yeah,
hips.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. He
Fucking
did. He
clown.
did, he did that. But exactly. Look, I can literally pick something up, put it down, but you don't have one video of knocking my form, attacking me for doing some kind of like momentum training. Because
Sure.
now, I mean, I don't follow him, but the last time I checked, that's what his account mostly is now. Is he's critiquing people's form and stuff, which is fine. I'd actually rather him do that than posting Sean Roden's dick pic because he's posting the text message between him and his side bitch. It's a completely big,
Yeah.
different ass
Yeah, that's the big
type of
difference. Yeah.
shit. So knock those fuckers that don't compete. Knock those fucking Sullocks all day about what they're eating. I don't care. That I don't have a problem with. But that's one thing that I always say is show me the videos where somebody is being like, man, Sergio's form is fucking shit. It's never gonna exist because I had to teach myself how to train. I definitely don't want to be injured. And my lengthy ass arms and legs, I have to make sure that I do everything right.
But
So,
but okay, so to go back to Michael Lockett, right? This is a good point. You and Michael Lockett compete, right? Michael Lockett, let's say Michael Lockett comes in peeled up out of his crazy peeled, right? And then he's more peeled than you and he wins. The general consensus is gonna be like, oh, Sergio has better genetics. He should have won, but he needs to work harder like Michael
work
Lockett.
harder,
Where
right?
where the
I don't think
where the
nobody was saying
truth
that
is
about Lockett.
no. But the truth is that they're discrediting the genetics of Michael Lockett for being peeled. They're looking at you like, well, you have clearly have better genetics because you're shape, but just shape genetics isn't the only thing. He's getting shredded. I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but he's getting shredded because he's shredded off season. He's always shredded.
Right.
So
Dude, he he
there's
he's got a look. I think he might have a deficiency. I mean, you've seen him, right?
for
His
sure,
muscle has like
for
some
sure.
something weird to it. Like he like
It's
he
insane.
definitely has some of the craziest genetics. Like seeing him just in a tank top, I'm like, you got like extra ripples and shit going on.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that you're not working hard enough because you're not as peeled as the most peeled guy in the lineup because that's not true.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
Cedric
sure.
doesn't work hard. Samson doesn't work hard. And you don't
Mhm.
know what the fuck they
No, that's
do.
just a genetic component, you know?
That's what I'm
Like there's
saying.
there's tons of genetic components that we don't even like think about that are really underrated. You know, like you said, digestion, like
Mhm.
how much can you assimilate your nutrients? That's
Exactly.
so fucking huge. Like think about what Carlos Thomas, right? Carlos Thomas would have already been to Olympia probably if he had like good
That's what I'm saying.
digestion.
That's a great example, exactly. And then also everything that you just named has nothing to do with your coach peaking you. You
Yeah.
can
No, no.
get someone who just fried your body out and you did work harder than everybody. You overtrained. I did Jay's podcast, and that's what he said to me. He said the kind of same thing that he was saying is that people don't really understand that if anything, I work too hard. I do too much cardio. I'm going to the
Boom.
gym 7 days a week. So I'd rather that be my problem that I train too hard. But right, nobody's talking about that. Where exactly if I show up at a show, and you know what, it is part of being a pro too. Like it's also on me. I need to learn what foods are stopping me from peaking properly. And it does become a thing where it's like, okay, after this amount of time, this is how a normal person who thinks that doesn't compete. After being a pro for 10 years, you should have figured it out by now. And so even if your coach isn't the best, even if your genetics aren't the best, you on your own should have figured it out by now. But what people don't realize is I won my pro card at 250. My last show was 285. those 35 pounds of muscle change your peaking process. So you might learn it, figured it out, which I did like at that Arnold where I beat Cedric. But then the next show, it was already different. I did the exact same thing 1 year later at the same show, same judges. My body looked like shit. So, and that's just something that people don't understand unless you actually compete, that you're constantly evolving and having to figure out as you get older how your body, because also too, what if you get like allergies? What if you have a gluten allergy, that you didn't start off with, things like that. And those are just things you
Yeah.
have to learn. And sometimes you don't fucking learn it until the day of the show, which is the worst part about bodybuilding. For boxing, you can sprawl with someone and figure out like I got my ass kicked, like I'm not ready yet. There's not many sports where you don't figure out that day that holy shit, I need to completely change everything that I'm doing, and that's just
Yeah.
it's hard to learn from that.
Don't people think that whatever you could think of, the athlete and the coaches already thought of it?
Right? It's like,
Bro,
you think I want all you fucking assholes like, criticizing me for fucking
You know?
bro,
6 months to my
what's
next show?
crazy is it's crazy when they say like you ever think about getting your front double with abs clenched? You know what? I've been fucking doing this 15 years. I never thought about flexing my stomach. They
No
would be like,
shit.
you should do it like Nick Walker. How come you don't do it like that? Man, I never thought about that before, man. You're so crazy.
It never crossed my mind. Hey, Derek, how come Hani didn't bring Derek fuller so his legs are fuller? There's a million reasons you could think. I mean, we saw pictures like a day out, and his legs were huge. I'm like, holy fuck, it was huge and peeled it on stage. I don't know. I mean, they probably don't know why. I mean, so many the timing of the show, what time they get on stage, who fucking knows? So many. He could have been cold. I don't fucking know.
Right.
But it's not that simple. But we're all trying. Oh, I came in flat this show. Okay, next show I'm gonna take less diuretics, eat a little more, and you do it. Still a little, you overspilled a little bit. Okay, let me pull it back. You're trying, but your body is changing in real time, and so everybody well aware. You need to bring your hamstrings up. Oh no shit. No, I didn't know. Like, what the fuck you think we're doing there? We're aware. We got a mirror, bro. We can see what's going on. And I would guarantee you, like, you didn't work less hard at a show you lost versus the New York Pro. You
Right.
might have worked even harder for the other shows, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, because in New York, I was a mess for sure. I even just said because I had gave my word to Weinberger when I won nationals that would be my first show. That's the only reason I even still did it with everything that was happening in my life. I fucking everything went to a mess that I remember at the end, which is so crazy to say. I remember just being like, I'm just ready to just finish this, which is really bad. That shows really where I was mentally, and I had no business doing a professional show.
Yeah.
But I did say that and won a show that I just need to just finish this shit out because I need to figure out how I'm going to fucking pay my bills. And then it worked out because I won. And that's the other thing too, is that you can say, oh, you know what? My wife didn't believe in me. I left her. My job didn't want to let me eat every 2 hours. So I quit that job. And then you win. And then they're like, see, that's the kind of mentality you're supposed to have. But if you lose, you're like, you left the woman you were with your whole life. You
Right?
quit
What's wrong with you?
your job to get second call out. You're a fucking idiot. So it always comes
Right?
down to what is the end product, because we look at all these workouts and all these things that we see people have done, but they won an Olympia. Oh, well, that's what I should be doing. That was the
Hmm.
hardest thing, is being in Spain with Dorian, because you can't tell these guys whatever they did was wrong or only worked back then, because they have the fucking Sandow to show you that that's how it's like the proof. It's almost like math, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Math is always one answer, no matter what. You can't give your opinion of why it should be a different answer. And I think that's how Sandows and Arnold Classic trophies are. It's just math. So if I told you that I ate dog shit and I won a Sandow, somebody's gonna try it. Somebody.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
no.
Yeah.
Do you think
That
if you don't win, sorry, if you don't think you win that New York Pro, is anything different for you now? Or what's different in that? Nothing?
Yeah, my whole life would have been completely different for
You
sure.
still be competing, or what would you think would be different? Different.
Yeah, I would still be competing, but I definitely would have had to have probably went back to school. I definitely would have had to get like a real job, because I went full broke for that show. I had no
So because you
sponsor.
went to Olympia the next year, right? So you don't think you would have gone to 2018 Olympia, or you think you still would have qualified? I mean, obviously hypothetical, it's hard to say, but it's kind of crazy how big of an impact that had.
Yeah, I just remember thinking, how stupid it was to buy a one-way ticket to go do a show, and I had no way of getting home. Like, who does that?
The
Who
son of Mr. Olympia who beat Arnold, you
you're
know?
right. See, but because it ended with a win,
Right?
and I am the child of the first Mr. Olympia to go pro, it looks like, oh my God, this is the beginning
Right?
of, the next Mr. Olympia. When in reality, what if my biggest competition wasn't De La Rosa, Juan, and Akeem? You
Yeah, the year
know?
before it was fucking stacked, right?
Right, exactly. And see, people don't ever want to talk about that. The first interview I did on RX,
That's
when they're
that's what made me your biggest fan, man. That was
they're
a
just
great
like,
interview.
oh, you saw it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like stroking me off. And I said, look, let's calm down. Because the year before it was Rolly, Kuklo,
Dex.
Dexter. Dexter didn't even come out. This is fucking so crazy. Dexter was so the winner, he didn't even come out twice. He just he came out for prejudging, did their comparisons, and at the night show, he just did his routine. They didn't even put him in the lineup. It's the first time that that's ever happened, that he was just the winner. Because sometimes now what they'll do if the guy's the winner so clear, they'll put him on the outside. And that's when people are like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm so confused. They didn't even bring Dexter out. That dude's in the back, and they let Rolly, Kuklo, Nathan.
Nate, yeah.
Yeah, it was somebody else too, because I remember that whoever those four.
Juan, I'm sure Juan was in there.
Yeah, of course, he did it every year. And I think that's what I said, that if any of those guys were there, I'm now taking fourth or fifth, just like that. So that also helped. I'm not saying that those guys weren't good, because they're absolutely good. I mean, I think Juan has for not winning the Olympia, I think he has the most Olympia qualifications than I think anybody. It's like a crazy ass statistic. I think he's got more jackets than fucking anyone
Oh, really?
Mr. Olympia does. Yeah. And bro, I mean, Akeem, you know what? I actually think old Akeem was better.
Yeah. He's
I mean,
leaner now, right? A little bit more
this last show he
shredded.
looked good, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
before this last show, for the
Yeah.
last at least couple of years. That Akeem was sick. It was definitely the best Justin Rodriguez,
Yeah.
because his body only got worse after that. So I'm not saying that they sucked, but I am well aware of the extra quality of bodybuilders that were in the league at that time. And I just happened to enter the show where it was just the New York guys I had to battle against. That randomly, the second, third, fourth, and fifth were all living, and that's what I said to Steve too, which is really cool. They let Brion win Classic. We came from Gold's Gym. I went against four other guys that train at Bev's gym, and they still let me, Brion, and the girl who won Bikini are all from Gold's Gym. So they let three West Coast people come into the East Coast, beat all the Mecca Bev's gym members. Like, they're living members of your
Yeah.
gym, It would have been, and who would have really went to bat and been like, bro, you screwed Sergio. It's my first pro show. There's no one. They could have easily given it to De La Rosa. They easily could have given it to any of those other guys. And they didn't, because that's how much just better I was, which is great. But in reality, yeah, that's the toughest part for people to understand, is Olympia wins, Olympia qualifications. I mean, not Olympia wins, show wins, and Olympia qualifications. They don't mean as much as they did back in the day, because you can go. But every time I do this, it always just hurts somebody's feelings, because you have to call somebody out. But what's his name? Lou, he's done the Olympia every year, but he always does the shows that are
He's a
right
pro, open?
yeah, open. And exactly, he's got more Olympia qualifications than I do. But if you just keep getting last call out at the Olympia, then what's the point? And that's the answer is in some of these countries, these guys are the best bodybuilders. So being able to go to the Olympia and represent that whole country, it is a huge win. It is amazing for that whole country. It's amazing. My girl's cousin came to stay here. She did her first Olympia. She's one of the only two people to ever qualify for the Olympia in Lithuania. So I think she got their call out. She's all upset. She goes back to her country. They're almost raising her up like she's hottie at the airport. So sometimes it's just perspective and who you're comparing things to. Child of the first Mr. Olympia ever to go pro. I've only placed in the top 3 of every show I've ever done, except the Arnold and the Olympia. He's a fucking piece of shit letdown, Or you have people who have really never beat anybody, but they keep hopping into these shows, get a qualification, go to the Olympia. No matter what, they have Olympia jackets, and now they can build businesses in their countries. They can do stuff. So sometimes bodybuilding is a business, which is great. It helps people out that are probably never going to be in a first call ever. But then it is super extreme towards people where you just assume they should be winning every show. And then when they don't, you're just like, oh, this person's right. He's not working hard enough. He's cheating on his diet. He must be doing something because bodybuilding's so easy. As long as your father is a Mr. Olympia, you should win every show, right? Because that's all you have to do is you work out, eat fish, take steroids. You're going to win every show you've ever done. And
but it kind of shifts so fast because before you did the New York Pro, I felt like people liked the idea of you, but they didn't really believe in you.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and then when you won it, they believed in you so much that anything less anything less of top 5 at Olympia, he's not doing his job, right? So then it almost became the opposite extreme, like, yeah, okay, he's okay. To like, whoa, okay, now if you don't like overachieve, then it's not good enough, right? So it flips fast. That's kind of like what happened to Nick Walker. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
whoa, okay, that's that guy. And now if Nick comes and plays top 5 at 5th place at Olympia, bust. How is top 5 bust for a guy who wasn't even supposed to be pro?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes that one win, people just go, they go opposite extremes so fast. They
That's
they
a great
can't just kind of
point.
like,
Yeah, that's a great
yeah.
point for real, man. And Nick's a perfect example of it too. Yeah, you're right.
It's so quick. Even like the guy who took fourth in the show with Chris and Martin, right? He looked great, the classic guy,
Oh
Hollenbeck or
yeah,
whatever his name is.
yeah.
And then he
Yeah,
did the
yeah,
show the
he
next
did.
week, got like eighth or
Boom.
something. It's
Nobody
like,
talking about him.
yeah,
Forgotten.
exactly.
Just
I
like,
should just quit after that, Chris, and keep the hype. So we talked before the show, but we didn't talk after, Sergio, right? So I mean, were you guys pretty like good? You guys had Martin win in that show pretty handily, or what would you think about it whenever he was going against C-Bomb?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he won. I thought also he won because he changed from prejudging Tonight Show. That's something that they're definitely rewarding now when you can come in looking better than you did before. You got to reward that guy. But I was talking about it. I did a show with Milos, and it's really hard for people in classic to understand. In classic, you show your hamstrings twice. You do side chest and your back double. That's it. So hamstrings aren't important to people. They don't care about hamstrings. They don't care about legs. They don't care about the thickness in the back. And if you throw in all the rules of where Bumstead's coming from, then yeah, absolutely he wins because you can't gain that much muscle in your back from the Olympia to that show. So he should win because he gained X amount from that show to that show. But that's not what bodybuilding is. Bodybuilding is not a like, hey, well, this guy lost 100 pounds for his transformation. That he won the Gold's Gym transformation contest, but now he's in the last call at the bodybuilding show. We should give him first because you know what, he changed his whole life around and he got rid of his diabetes. It's not how a show is judged. So unfortunately, we want to like relate to people and especially the classic guys, the classic fans, which is the majority of the fans on social media. They're all not wanting to be huge monsters, which is understandable. So you're gonna want to root for
It's
the
so
guy.
easy.
Yeah, right. It's super easy. Just
You're not
want
going to be
to
as big as the classic guy, even.
go. so I
well,
so I so I think I feel bad that people still don't understand how bodybuilding works, and I think that they don't understand that classic is X amount of poses and bodybuilding has way more poses. So yes, this can have the best front double, front lat spread, even his ab shot. You can say, man, up and down, this is what Mr. Olympia looks like. While you're not understanding, it's like golf. This
But
guy hit.
a lot of people were thinking that he was taking it. Like Fuad was saying that. I mean, a lot of the, and I was like, I was arguing with all kinds of people. I was like, you guys are fucking crazy. Like
It didn't
Martin
help
was,
that it didn't help that Martin was a little spilly, he was a little sweaty. So
yeah, but it's just like the 3D of the legs, like you were saying, it's just such a night and day difference. I mean, it's bodybuilding. Like I was pretty positive, but like, did you feel like that, Biadi? Like it seemed like a lot of social media was saying Chris was winning. I mean, even like people that
well,
know shit.
well, here's the thing. I don't agree, but I know why they thought that. When you're watching videos and pictures, structure is the most important things. That's what stands out in picture video. When you're there in person, then it becomes clear. When you can see in 3D what somebody looks like, that's when it's clear. I've been at shows where I hear people saying, "Okay, let's go by that New York Pro. Dexter beat Rolly. How the fuck he beats Rolly?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" In person, you see why. But I got to be honest. In the pictures, you kind of like because it's different. Like Rolly is the bigger person. He's the bigger man. So it's like, oh, well, he's very muscular as well. But when you're a bigger person, it translates well to pictures and video. Chris is a bigger person than the entire lineup, but he's not as muscular as them. So when you're there, I think it would have been very clear that Martin won. But from the pictures, he looked better tan. He got a polish. He has an aura, man. He has an aura. He does win people over. So I can see why they thought that. But it's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know, how can we say Andrew Jack needs more more hamstrings, he needs more of this, he needs more muscle total, but the motherfucker's 300 pounds at the same height as Chris.
Right, exactly. Well, there was a
But
moment where
then
they both did crabs, and you could really see that. And I'm like, oh man.
yeah, we can't say Reagan needs 20 pounds more muscle at 260, but Chris could, could be
Right.
240. It wouldn't be fair because we're telling all these people that they need size, and so everybody has to follow the criteria, even Chris. So by bodybuilding criteria, then if people understood bodybuilding to the extent we do, they would understand how amazing it was that Chris got second. That's mind blowing that he got second. Where some people are kind of like, a little disappointed. I thought he was gonna win. That's crazy to think second is a disappointment. Look, he beat Sean Clarita, bro. He beat he beat Presley. I mean, all these guys are legit guys, and he beat them. That's insane. That's amazing. So instead of looking at it as, oh, he could have won or should have won, it's actually amazing that he even got second. Even if he got third, that would have been amazing. I think so. So he did a great job, and he's an amazing bodybuilder. But it's bodybuilding, man. You have to have the muscle. You just have to.
Yeah, even Clarita looked better than he did at the Olympia. Everybody looked better.
Did
But
Cleaner
it's
look better when he beat you, or was he better here? He was better when he beat you, right?
no, no, he was better when he beat me. Yeah, I think that's like
Better
You think that
conditioning.
Clearer beats that C-Bum
when he,
when he
yeah,
beats you, the Legion? He
just
looked fucking pretty good.
he looked just well. One,
I,
his legs were
I
bigger.
think so.
His legs were way bigger when he
Yeah.
got the Legion
Yeah, his
against.
legs
And the
downsized.
Olympia that he won after that, his legs were bigger too. So those definitely don't help, especially when you're going against two people with flaring quads.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
that definitely didn't help. But yeah, I mean, when for him to beat two people that were 6 foot tall, like he did when he beat me and Regan, it was for a reason because it was like one of those things when you blocked us out, that dude was like Ronnie Coleman, Where
Yeah,
now
yeah.
if you do that on him, it's still super impressive. But nobody's comparing him to Ronnie Coleman
No,
anymore
no, yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. And I think he probably had. I obviously Matt. There was definitely some issues with Matt that you can't not talk about that. But also he is getting older, and I think there are some injuries that I think are also stopping him from able to put. I think where he's at now, he's going to keep the same amount of muscle that he has. I don't think he's going to gain any more, and it's just going to be on him and Boss peaking him where he can catch these guys slipping or not. But he'll never beat Keon again. That's just there's no way.
Oh,
And,
I
and
got
not
you.
anything against Sean. It's only because he's still growing. He's still got more room to grow. I was just talking to him the other day. I thought he was fucking 213. I thought he was already over the weight. He's
205? What
Yeah,
was it? What was
huh?
he? What did he compete at? I think it was 205, right?
Yeah, he's got like a fucking almost 10 pounds he can gain.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's
Yeah.
he
crazy.
can
Yeah,
still get a tiny bit leaner too, you know. Yeah, I'd say 2 years, he's gonna look fucking just wild, wild, wild.
stupid.
Yeah,
That
2 years
silhouette.
he'll be an open in 2 years. There's no way.
Yeah, he can't.
There's just no money. There's no money in 212 anyway. Like honestly, even if you're just trying to like, okay, you knock out your legacy, you knocked out your Olympias in the 212. Okay, but now it's about paying your bills and like I'm sure
Right.
they want to have a kid at some point.
Hmm.
You can take fucking third place in the open and still make more money than first place in 212. So
Hmm.
it's better financially to go and open and be in the first call out, even at the end, than even winning a 212 after another one. I mean, obviously you get sponsorships and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, that paycheck is not
Uh,
shit.
Let me ask you
Keon,
this. What about Kia?
I was gonna say Keon impressed me more than anybody at the Olympia.
Yeah.
More than anybody. I feel that that was the most impressive physique in the entire show.
Keon and then
I
Mike,
was
I
very
think they were the
impressed.
two. I mean, and
Mike
Keon
was very.
still got even a little bit of room. It's just how amazing he is, just genetically. But let me ask you guys
Yeah,
this. This is something I threw around. I don't know if you guys would agree. Let's say like you control the IFBB, right? You can just do where the fuck you want. I agree. I think honestly, what I think would be cool is if like 212 wasn't like an Olympian thing. I know that sounds kind of like insulting, but what I had this idea was like have like what do they whenever they do Wings of Strength maybe or maybe make that not just a girls like have a 212 like championship during the year and have it there and then let that guy compete at Olympia like in 2 weeks. Can you imagine having like Keon winning that, and now he's going here, and now he's get to go with the big boys. We have the hype. It's like we're only really interested in the guy who's winning. Usually, it's not like you're like, let's bring the top five over. Anyway, I think that could build up hype for the 212 division itself, a little bit of anticipation for that, and then for the Olympia, it'd save down some of the fucking time. It's so goddamn long. What do you guys think about it? You think that's insulting, or is there anything you guys would do if you had just total power of the IFBB?
Well, I said that to my 212 friend Aaron Pilates in Australia, and it was
Oh
like
yeah,
I like slapped him in his face. So
yeah.
we also have to forget too. I mean, we also have to remember that we forget because we think about 212 in the United States. The 212s out of the United States are really the majority of the 212 class. You have all those Europeans that are never going to be above 5'6" to save their life. They will never be able to have enough funding to even make it to the size to go into the open. And so that's the problem, is that you got to have sponsors and do this shit for a decade to be able to put that amount of mass that you can even be being talked about to go into the open. So how are these people going to be able to afford
They
winning
can
their
still do 212, just not the Olympia, right?
it's just wings of strength. You just have one
Yeah,
show. And
yeah,
then
exactly.
how much are you honestly really going to pay 212 at the wings of strength?
Well, I'm
And
talking about keeping the normal 212 shows, but those qualify you for like the Wings of Strength.
uh,
You know what I'm saying? So just
Whoa.
get rid
yeah.
of Olympia altogether and
Yeah,
have
but
them do their own.
nobody in fucking Norway wants to spend $100,000 to send their 212 guy to the Wings of Strength. It's just not.
Yeah.
They
Plus,
want to bring
plus,
that. Go ahead.
okay, plus, unless you wear a wig, Jake Wood, he don't want no parts in
Right? Yeah, he likes his muscle women. It might have to be a different show. Yeah. Dude, do you remember the fucking weird shit they did a couple Olympias? Like they had the one where they had them do some fucking like skit out there, like on the
Yo,
like they're in the
it
kitchen
got
or something.
weird.
They're
Well,
like
they
in
were
mini
like girls
skirt.
flexing and shit, right? Yeah, I thought that shit was a little creepy. I'm
Oh
like,
my
whoa,
God.
Like, dude,
Jake,
this is way too like people are
hey,
seeing this. I know we're like niche, but we're not that fucking niche, bro.
bro, not on stage. Listen, we all appreciate some female muscle. That should have been like a photo shoot or on YouTube. On stage, I was getting uncomfortable. I'm like, oh shit, okay, what's
That
going
was
on?
funny.
Yeah, even that.
Jake.
You remember the halftime show at the Olympia where they opened up the curtain? They were all working out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Oh,
of.
that's what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
what
You
I'm thinking
gotta
of. Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and they had like
This
some like
dude was just
soundtrack
he
over it.
was
They were
just in
like
the back, like, oh God,
it's the
I
whole reason
love
I bought this
it.
fucking thing. That's funny. Is it
Only one person like that.
I know.
Bro, he has to be coming out of pocket, bro, for these
Oh yeah.
shows, bro.
He loses 3 mil at least a year. Yeah.
Oh
Holy
man.
fuck.
Yeah, I
I
Hey,
wonder.
know.
I wonder if he's going to keep the Olympia, and I wonder if they're going to keep women's bodybuilding too. It's
Would you
really
guys
interesting.
change
yeah.
stuff about the Olympia or just the IFBB in general? So you had absolute power. What would you do?
I would leave it. I would leave it how it is.
Everything?
I
Everything. I
do.
would get rid of figure. Like, at least get rid. I think we can get rid of one women's division, branch them into different ones, physique
Yeah, I
and
mean,
wellness.
one of my best friends is a figure, and she just did
I
her
love
first
figure.
two
Yeah.
years ago. But really, at the end of the day, yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
You're just a non-acrobatic fitness, and you're a little bit smaller wellness. I mean, not wellness. Yeah, wellness,
Physique.
but
Yeah.
physique. And so if you start making the figure girls do a routine, then you're almost pretty much at physique. It's kind of
Yeah.
close. But it's easy for us, it's easy for us to be like, man, and we're like, you should have this category or that category. But if you said, let's get rid of men's physique, we would be like, that's fucking insane because there's so many guys that want to look that way. That's that amount of money being funded into the IFBB to pay for other classes. So figure is the same way too. There's probably more entrants in NPC shows
Figure's not a ton. I mean, everyone's doing wellness and bikini. Last few shows I've done, figure's been pretty down ever since wellness.
because you're being ignorant American. We only think about America
Good point.
out
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
just talking about the
country,
ones I've seen. Yeah.
unless you're in like Brazil where it's just straight wellness. A lot of these European girls are
Yeah.
figure. That's what they are. They walk around looking like that because they probably started in bikini and then they put on a little bit of muscle where they're now too big for bikini and they have no ass to compete against these Brazilians in wellness. So they go to figure, and that's exactly what they are.
Yeah. I don't I don't mind the different divisions, man. I gotta be honest. It doesn't bother me, just that it's more of a time thing. I think if they could split it up in a better way,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think time management.
Sure.
But I'm cool because there's gonna be people who love different divisions. Just because like maybe we don't like it, but there's always people who like the divisions, So I'll say it's only going to make more money, and it's giving people an avenue. Everybody wins, people get to compete, and then people make money. I think it's fine as long as you can manage the time,
Yeah,
manage the
Yeah,
time well.
we gotta get better.
With Sid being gone though, it does open up that
Yeah,
door of who's because I don't know if you
Who's
guys
gone?
with
Sid
Sid retiring.
Gillian.
Oh, okay, yeah, she
Yeah,
retired.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
So I don't know if you guys had heard this, but after Flex had left, this is while Sean was just starting to kind of like get into his own in the 212. They had talked about getting rid of 212
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have Hottie, Derek, and then Clarita beat us. They were saying that here's already three guys beating big guys. What's the point of the open class? Because the draw of how many people are buying Olympia tickets to go see 212 after Flex left, it was way down. And see, that's like the part of bodybuilding that none of us are going to understand, and nobody on any comments or boards are going to understand is being able to see the ticket sales and the numbers for each class. They ask people, they do all their census to figure out why everyone's there. And when Flex left, they definitely took a hit. And so now Keon has definitely refreshed that for sure, because now people are back to wanting to see someone. Even if you're coming for that class just for one person, it's worth it. But now let's talk about Keon leaving. Who's gonna be this like, man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get on a plane from fucking Portugal and I'm gonna fly to Vegas to go see who? And
right.
so that's
Who got
that's
second?
what who?
Who took second? Oh, Sean. Oh, Sean. Well, he's on his.
He's a bit older too. Who took
Right.
third then?
They've g-
Uh
they've got that young aesthetic guy. Was
He
third.
looks good.
They have that. He looks really good. Who?
I don't know who it was. I don't know if he's Brazilian or what, but there was one guy. He probably had the besides Keon, obviously, he had the prettiest physique on
I know
Yeah,
stage.
he's talking about.
And they
Yeah.
gave
yeah.
him
He's
like
like top six, right?
they gave him fourth or fifth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
It's
looks
because
good.
his back was a little small, but his legs were stupid. His
Yeah,
legs were probably the best out of anybody in the 212. Uh, but it was just one of those things where he needs to grow and stuff like that. But still, that dude's not going to be able to be the ambassador of a whole class. There's just no way.
No, no. If you're a really good bodybuilder, I don't think the height matters. If you have the same bodybuilder and 1 to 5 inches taller, then that probably matters. But it's not a height contest, man. Tonio got like 10th place in 212. Then the following year, he was 8th place in open, and he
Yeah.
was the same weight. He went
Mhm.
from like 212 to 214.
When I did that Legion with Clarita, Tonio got fourth.
Oh,
He was
you're
behind
right.
me.
And he
yeah.
did
And
And
212.
beat you at the cow after that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Huh?
And I
Yeah.
always talk about it with him and his coach because it's really cool. It's not really cool. It's just how it's just how it works. If he was more popular, they would have did a four-person call out
Yeah.
easily. They just did
Mm.
just me, Regan, and Sean because we were the names going into that show. But Tonio was not that. I mean, I was
He
off.
looked good.
I
Yeah.
was off. Tonio, if they would have gave it to me, nobody would have. If they would have gave it to him, nobody would have complained except my mom
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he looked really good. But it also shows what kind of person he is. I always want to talk about this story because for people who don't actually follow the least famous people in the sport, we're doing our call out, me, Regan, and Sean, and I was starting to get gassed. I for sure was. I had already like killed myself to even get to that show. I was going through so much, and I was just dying out. And I felt it. And then I hear this like, "Come on, Sergio." It's not coming from the crowd. It's coming from the people in fucking second call out waiting to get called up. And I don't know who it is because we're facing the crowd. And then we turn around to do our back shots. And I realize it's fucking Tonio. Like I just fucking met this guy like I don't know a year ago. And you know how fucking ballsy it is to be rooting for someone right in front of you? Because one, it's cool that he's rooting for me, but he's also right in front of Regan and Sean telling them go
Yeah.
fuck themselves because he's rooting for me. And it was really cool because it gave me like a second win. I swear to God, I like fucking just got like energy out of nowhere. But it also shows what kind of person, because well, you think he was happy that he got second call out? Of course not. He's absolutely disappointed. So now he's
Mhm.
waiting to get a second call out. He's not excited and he's still rooting on another bodybuilder,
Yeah.
who could be really, he could be beating if they would have just put him in
Mhm.
that call out. So it just shows what kind of person Tonio is. He's such a fucking good ass dude. But if he was a little bit more famous, they would have put him in that call out. People would have known who he was. And I bet you he would have skyrocketed a little bit faster because after Legion, nobody was talking about Antonio.
Hmm.
It wasn't until that I forgot what show it was that he won. He won after
What was the?
because that's what
He
got him to
won.
Olympia. I forgot what show it
Yeah.
was.
As a
Did he
212
win
or as
the?
open?
No, no, it's open because it was after.
New York, right?
Oh,
Didn't he win
New
New York?
York. Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. Exactly. And so then
Did,
people
uh,
knew who he
Is it
was.
wasn't did he get second in New York? I think he won New York, right? He won New
he
York and
did
Stu
win.
got second that year, right?
Yeah,
He,
he also won the Legion one year, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a 212, right?
He won New York when I was in Dubai. That was after. That was before the cow because he did New York and then the
Yeah.
cow back to back
I think
because he
it beat
won.
Stu, right?
No,
The New
Yeah,
someone else
York
got second. Someone else
at
got second.
the New York? The first
Yeah.
year.
Who
you talking
wasn't
about
second?
last year? I think last year Stu got second,
Yeah.
and Sergio got first, right? And who else
No,
was in
no.
that show?
No. When Tonio beat Stu, I think it was the first year Stu competed. So that was like 2 years ago, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple years ago. But yeah, but
Yeah.
Tonio, when Ross won the cow, Tonio legit looked happy for him, which is
He's a
surprising
good guy.
because most of us had Tonio in it, with all due respect, and he seemed legit happy. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised he's taking it so well, you
Yeah,
know.
and I had called him from Dubai because I was like, "Yo, what show are you gonna do?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do New York," and then he won it, and then I messaged him to congratulate him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do the cow." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm coming from Dubai to do the cow." He was like the first person I told, and he's like, "Well, I'll see you there." And I'm like, "Bitch, you fucking already got an Olympia qualification." So I was even like talking shit to him, and like because we're boys, I'm just like, "Okay, fine," I told you I'm coming, and then so either way, yeah, exactly. He was happy for Ross, even though he knew that he was going. If you're going into a show after you just won, you are going to win. You're not going
Hmm.
to see what happens. And then he beat me after I was fucking giving him shit for doing it. And he right, exactly. He walked out of there congratulating Ross, saying what's up to me and everything that I had just went through to get out of Dubai and all that. So that dude's like a
Yeah.
stand-up dude all around. It's just unfortunate.
That show, I remember nobody was sure if Sergio was gonna make it, right? Because is that when you got held up in Dubai? That was when that
Including
happened,
me.
right?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna make it either. I even told my girl, I was like, I won't know until I give my passport at Dubai if they're gonna let me go or not. But it wasn't until I literally gave my passport that finally that feeling in my stomach dropped.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
able to get out of here. It's just what a horrible feeling, man.
Shit, we didn't know till like that Friday or Saturday, because I remember nobody knew. We didn't know what was good. Because that whole day, I believe I was staying with Stu in that hotel, and I don't think any of us knew. But I saw Aceto, I remember, and I was like, I was like, hey, wait, Aceto, what is going on here?
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I bet Stu's a little still beat up about that show because I know he had just went through a lot. He almost got fired from his job.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah, yeah.
so uh
Hmm. Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
I'm
You guys
glad I
want
did
to
it. I'm glad everything that happened because no matter what, like no one's ever gonna be able to say I'm fucking weak because I'm the only person to get out of jail and go do a show. So fuck that.
do? Yeah,
But
facts.
I
That's
just
facts.
don't like that was my last show with Aceto because
Yeah.
that's not fair to him, to me, to be going in with that kind of cortisol and that stress. Nobody would have been able to have brought me in any better than what I was.
Maybe you
So
do like a J at the end of your career, do one more run with the Cena.
yeah, right. Yeah,
You guys want to do a couple questions real quick before I let you go? I had a couple
let's do
people
it.
send in a few things.
Yeah.
Um, Sergio, I guess this one's for everybody. Favorite bicep superset? You guys do a lot of bicep supersets?
No.
I don't do any
I don't
superset.
think I've
Yeah.
ever done one in my life.
Yeah.
I will, but I don't like I just it's not like if I do a superset for my biceps, I'm gonna do something that's like a lengthened focus with a shortened focus. But in general, yeah, I'm not gonna superset too much with the single joint ones,
It's,
you
it's
know.
hard because if you're a bodybuilder or you're a weightlifter, there's two different fans of your show. And I feel
Right. Well,
that
this one was for you, yeah.
because for bodybuilding, I always say all the time, I got to be the dumbest dude ever. I'm the only bodybuilder. I got calves, I got forearms, and I got arms, and none of those get you any points in any bodybuilding poses. I've never won a shot because my arms were better, my forearms were better, my calves were better. So when I do supersets, I'm always trying to do supersets of something that I'm losing for.
Yeah.
Right. And even one time I stopped doing arms for a year because my chest was so bad and my back was so bad while I was able to skull crush 225 with my triceps. So I realized I need to let them actually literally get weak so my other muscles will take over. So, but again, see, that's genetics, right? That's something where I do have some kind of genetic advantage because my arms could grow from so little work. But then why is my back so shitty? So it's like give and take. So because of my genetics, it made my arms grow, which I wish they didn't, and now I have a shitty chest and
Fuck
back.
out of here. Wish my arms didn't grow.
When you
It doesn't
when you
matter. It doesn't matter.
It's
At
fucking
schools, it
kidding.
matters. When you're driving with your arm hanging out the window, it matters. But in a front shot, in a front, because really, when do you see buys? Front double and
I
back
mean, the
double?
side chest, it can look decent, but yeah, it's not a
You
big.
can
Your
you can push
delts, that's what I'm
you
saying.
can
It's not a
push all
big.
day with your finger
I mean,
against your
front
body with your
double
side
is pretty
chest.
much it.
I
Yeah,
mean, and even side tricep, people don't understand. A lot of times in side tricep, you're looking more at the leg and
yeah,
your
delt.
profile of a side
Yeah,
tricep. No one's
yeah.
like because otherwise Rolly Winkler would have won every side tricep he's ever done,
Exactly.
and he doesn't. He doesn't win everyone.
We talked about this on my podcast. I'm like, there's a lot more Miss Olympias with weaker arms than stronger arms, right? And we can go back to what? We can go back to from Samir to even Lee Haney, Dorian, Sean Roden. I mean, you don't have to have the best arms in the world to be Miss Olympia, really.
I mean,
It
Bumstead in
seems to be
classic.
that's true, you know.
Damn, bro, I never even thought about that. Two Mr. Olympias, one with torn biceps.
Good point.
Who,
Yeah.
who else? Who else besides Dorian?
Jay,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that
that
black that black bicep was not normal tanning.
no, yeah. I don't think like you don't want it. You don't want any body part to be so weak that it's glaring, but you don't have to have these world class arms or forearms or calves. To it's really essentially what a back leg condition muscularity contest really. You know.
I think it's up to a certain year too, because I think if you go back far enough, it's reversed, where you have Samir Banu. Look at Chris Dickerson. Chris Dickerson is probably easily the worst Mr. Olympia of all the Mr. Olympias, right? But it's like one of those things where you say the worst. It's like saying
Still miss.
Still
Yeah.
the
this is
best.
the
Yeah.
worst Terminator movie. They're all good, It's just
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
happens to be in a class of crazy. But his arms are stupid, but his legs are
Mhm.
probably worst. So if you go back far enough, you start realizing that it was sick arms winning with really mediocre legs, and then it switched probably around. You're right, Lee Haney. Because who was before Lee Haney? Frank Zane? No, Samir.
Dickerson, Samerson. Yeah,
Some
Dickerson,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Samir, and
yeah.
then Lee.
So you're
Uh,
right. Yeah, probably around Lee Haney is when it
Miller.
switched to when you had better legs, and then the arms were kind of just okay. Look at Albert Beckles beating people at 50 years old with those arms, with those biceps, but then the legs,
Yeah.
his biceps probably measure the same as his legs.
That's true. Yeah, like Arnold too. Yeah. Your dad had big legs though. Your dad had big ass
Is
legs.
that true
But
that his legs were bigger
he
than
had big
his
arms.
waist? Your dad?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
arms were bigger than his waist.
His arm,
Well,
holy shit.
Yeah. No,
he-
that's a crazy statistic because they were like 25 or some shit. And yeah, his
yeah.
Your dad didn't have 25-inch arms, even
it
as
was some
fucking
it was
huge as
some
he
like
was.
20. Yeah, because
That's bigger than Rulli at his biggest, right? That's
well,
like
What with
because
the conditioning?
they would do measuring pumped and cold.
fuck. He's so
And
big,
my
dude.
dad, my dad always did his cold because he's smart. Because if you do it cold, you can always add on more if you
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
they were 21 or 20 cold.
Oh shit.
So it was something stupid. But yeah, his
Uh,
waist is 18.
Oh my. So
Yeah.
someone had a question about your dad too while we're on him. They asked if he had any like info or why he thought Steve Reeves was on gear because I think he said in some interview. I don't know if you have any awareness of that at all, but he was saying that everyone used it back in the day. He said even like Steve Reeves and people that supposedly completely natural before was around.
Yeah, I think it's just common sense that you know that these guys, because when you were back then, you know what's available. And so you know when injectables were uh uh um
It was just testing
Available.
like D-ball pretty much, right?
yeah, whatever the word I'm trying to think of, implemented
Yeah.
but before that there was plenty of fucking orals. So are you
Yeah.
telling me when they were popping 20 D balls that they're natural? So you don't have any fucking injections that makes you natural. So that's what I'm saying. The people still do that today, where they say I'm natural. I just went to the Natural Olympia a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
This one dude, I filmed him because he was so fucking yoked out of his mind.
The guy who won? Baku or
No,
whatever
no,
his
no.
name?
but he won like a not the overall class. It was just like his class, and he was just so jacked. It was so obvious. But I bet you, if he does a lie detector and says, have you done any injectables? He could say no because they could just pop orals, or you can get on gear and get off,
Yeah.
and you can still pass a drug test. People are like so like with this. Well, if you do a lie detector and a drug test, then you have to be telling the truth. It shows you know nothing about gear. So I think back then, obviously, there was no drug test and stuff like that. But you're telling me the top physique person in the planet doesn't know all the little
Yeah,
inhibitors that exist on this world? Bullshit. Come on.
it's hard to believe.
My dad didn't know shit about working out. He went to Russia, came back. He was already the best person in Cuba from just from the couple weeks he was there. So other places they know about things maybe your country doesn't know about. It doesn't mean that you couldn't have got that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very good point. I, I didn't even know that anybody thought Steve was natural.
Yeah, I mean that's like the natty guy. Like I said, I got all these natties guys. He's like their idol. And we'll do one more of these
Oh,
real quick, guys, before I let you go. What's this is funny because I definitely have a good one for this. What's the stupidest thing you've ever done in contest prep?
Mine was at the Tampa Pro. I I realized that I always look the best when I'm in the gym, like every single bodybuilder who's ever existed. Why can't I look like this on stage, right? So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to MI40 instead of backstage at the show, and I'm gonna pump up at
oh
MI40.
my God.
And I'm gonna have a friend telling me what's on stage, so that way when it's time for me to literally go show up and walk on stage, because I already went, did my check-ins, got my number, everything, and then left. So no one even really knew that I had left. So I went back to MI40, pumping up, eating fucking muffins, and I was fucking my skin was about to break. I was so pumped. It was the best I ever looked. I have pictures. So I'm walking around MI40 as the Tampa Pro champ, but unfortunately, there's no way you can sustain that till at night, till 9 o'clock at night when you have to come back for the night show. And I was also going against that Alex Rodriguez guy who had like the best legs in open
Yeah.
bodybuilding. So
Alexis Rivera.
Rivera, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no disrespect. So I actually won prejudging because I looked
Oh.
stupid. And then by the time night show came around, I couldn't keep a pump to save my life.
Man.
That was a good show. What about you, Baidi?
So I don't pump up backstage, man, but because of that, my first few shows, I got a crazy pump. Then right before
Before stage, I lose the pump, then I can't get it back. And no matter what I do, so I'm like, damn, now I look when you get a pump and lose it. Now I look like soft. I don't know, you know. So I'm like, fuck. So I just stopped doing it. Like maybe a couple of push-ups, like while I'm lined up. But it's when you get that pump and you try to sustain it, you just can't because you can't do it, man. You know, it's hard. But the question was the dumbest thing you did in prep.
Like
Yeah.
during prep or peaking, yeah, or just your prep.
I think I do so many dumb shit. I get into car accidents pretty often. What usually I just buy stupid shit like this dumbest purchases. The dumbest purchase I did in prep was buying a Hellcat, bro. During prep, that was stupid as shit. What else? I'm trying to think of something silly I did in prep. I think that's probably the one I regret the most because I lost money off of it. But I tried DNP on prep.
Oh
That
yeah.
didn't work too well for me. For me, I just felt like shit, man. I could barely train because I was just so weak and tired all the time. It
Like
just made
yeah.
me feel hot, tired, and just shitty.
Uh,
So for some people use it though. I mean, there are people who use it, and it works for them. But for me, no, it didn't work.
yeah,
Um,
I don't care fuck with that. I'm too skinny anyway. For me, probably the dumbest thing I did was junior USA's. I did classic physique the year they introduced it. And I was pretty shredded. I ended up being like I think they sit back the top three, and I was right next to them. So it's like I was in fourth or something. So I used to get like the research Kims, right? You remember back in the day, like before you had access to like actual like pharmaceutical AIs and shit, you get the little fucking
yeah,
squirters and
liquid.
shit. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I had like some Letro, and I was like, man, I just dry out so good. I look so fucking crazy. I'm just fucking, I don't know how much I'm squirting in, and like,
Oh,
dude, as I'm sitting there posing, like I'm like locked up, and my muscles like fucking seize up so bad. I'm on stage. I'm trying to to go through these poses. Lucky he kicked it like right at the end, but as soon as it ended, they sent back the top three, so I had to stay there for another fucking posing round with the next second call. So then I left, and like I'm trying to fucking just walk, and I've read what it is. It's like mineral deficiency or some shit, but like I could not contract my quads walking, and I was like, all right, so I know I'm not in the top three. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna fix myself. I'm not coming back for the night show. So I didn't even come back for the night show. I had to like just drink
Oh
and like I was all
no.
fucking freaking out. But yeah, so definitely do not recommend that. That was retarded. I think, like I said, some of the shit I've done whenever I was young, looking back, I'm like, oh my God.
One year I carved up on Anadrol and then and GH because somebody told me that this is what George Farah does, right? They say that they say he started carving up on Tuesday, he adds back Anadrol, adds GH back in. I said, oh, I'm gonna be huge, I'm gonna be full. That was the year Stu won USA's, and I look like shit, man. I mean, I was huge, I was huge and full, but my back was watery, blurred out. My ass was I had vascularity and shit, but it looked like I looked like I was 8 weeks out, a vascular 8 weeks out.
I know, and that's
So
all the work for that one fucking moment. You're like, God damn. Like, so
Even
now I'm
that,
much more chill. I don't fuck with anything. I don't want to manipulate water too much. I just rather take it at 98%. Don't try to get to 102 and just coast in there.
100%. Don't shoot for the stars when it comes to peaking.
Yeah.
You rather be 90%. If you try to go for that 100%, sometimes you drop down to 60%.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do because you want to be so good. I just know I could be better. I was just like Sergio, I want to look like that gym look at 4 weeks out. I want to look like that guy. Yeah. Nah, it ain't gonna happen.
That's why you got to have the right coach in your corner. And I'm fucking psyched to see you this year, Sergio. You guys are gonna fucking do awesome. FIBO, that's really cool. Are you gonna go to the Arnold?
I'm gonna
As
go
like a
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Are you
yeah.
going to Arnold, Baidi?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Arnold, New York Pro, Olympia.
I think I'm gonna
The
skip.
big
I'm gonna
ass
try
Olympics.
FIBO this year. I think I'm gonna go to fucking FIBO. That'd be fun.
That'd be
Gonna
fun.
do
It's
It's
Germany,
nuts,
right?
man. Yeah, it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
shows too how they do things over there compared to us. It's
Yeah, I
just
want to
like,
see you get back on stage too. See you fucking win that
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. And they said that they're gonna do prejudging in the expo because that's the other thing too is I don't want to come back after not doing a show for so long and then be in some shitty ass lighting.
Right. Yeah.
So I made sure that they're gonna do prejudging at the expo, but then the night show they're gonna do at a different like venue. So I think it'll be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, fuck.
yeah.
Appreciate it, guys. I gotta get to my real job where I can actually make some real money. Thank you guys for hopping in, man. It's been good. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for
it.
sure.
I don't have a job, man. I just
I just
I'm
got
trying to make it so I
fired.
don't have to. Right? Exactly.
Hey,
So
I
then
don't
maybe
even
we'll
know
get
how the
another
fuck
one
I pay.
soon.
I don't know how the fuck I pay bills, if I'm being honest. So somehow, I just pray. I pray on it, and then somehow I'm able to. I don't know.
I'm gonna
You're a
have to probably
hustler.
throw a wig on and call our boy Jake to probably make some money. Struggling
Awesome.
now.
Gotta make that
Uh,
money, man.
Twenty
Make
dollars
that
is
money.
$20, bro.
right.
Later.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Take
All
it
right, y'all.
easy.
All right, all right, y'all.